we will talk about marriage, how to build up marriage, how to handle problems in marriage. And now sometimes people have a very simple view that if they love each other, the marriage will be good. First thing I want to say, love can have different meanings. When sometimes if we counsel and just say, do you love him or her? Sometimes people answer, the meaning is, I like him or her. Yes, I want to be married to him or her. But actually love means I want to do something for him or her. I want to do a lot for him or her. I want to do something to make him or her feel happy, that we can enjoy the relationship, that we want to pay a price. That's love. Okay? So, when you think about...
Is it good to marry on sympathy? Sympathy.
No. The question is it good to get married because of sympathy?
Yeah.
No. Don't. Don't get married because of sympathy. Because you say, this person is miserable, he needs money, he needs someone to love, and then I will marry him or her, and then he'll have someone, and then I'll make him happier. I want to tell you this. Marriage is not a place to change people's life. If you get married to change a person, you have many difficulties, because when you marry someone, he's always negative, and you say after marriage he will be positive, it won't necessarily happen. And then you might be disappointed. And the more you try to push him to change, the worse it will be. So when you get married, when you marry someone, think of you can accept the person. If the person can change, it is grace. It's blessings. But if the person doesn't change, that is normal. Let me ask you, have you seen many people change? Have you seen many people change?
No, very few people change.
Very few people change. Because people are just not willing to change. The reason is of the sinful nature.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, the lifestyle and the sinful nature and the way of thinking is very hard to change. So when you marry someone, think of accepting him or her. If you cannot accept, don't marry. If you cannot accept him or her, don't marry. Because you marry him or her, you suffer for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Because, now, let me use an example. You see someone who gets angry easily, and then you say, I'll be very nice to him or her. And then, now for simplicity, I'll just say him instead of him and her. Okay? So you think, okay, I love him, and then he will be not so angry, but then, now when dating, it will work for a while. Why? Because in dating, there is more love, more happiness from the love, more excitement. But when you get married or when the relationship is steady, there begin to be expectation. Let me explain. When you date someone regularly, and then if the person doesn't answer your phone, you'll ask him or him, why didn't you answer my phone? Where did you go yesterday? It's very natural. Now this is not the best way to do it, but many people ask in this way. And then the person will start to feel, wow, now I have less freedom. I have less freedom. And the person might become unhappy. And the more you ask, the more he will disappear. Now, before marriage, maybe he will change a little bit because he's chasing after you. But after marriage, it is harder to change. And also, usually after marriage, there's a lot of law. You want him to do things a certain way. You want him to do this. You want him to wash the dishes. You want him to listen to you. You want him to care about you. And then when he doesn't do it, then you'll be unhappy. So that can create worse problems. I'm not saying marriage cannot change people. Marriage can change people, but not by telling them to change. When you love a lot, when you care a lot, it can change. But don't think how much they can change. If they change, it is grace. Let me ask you, do you accept this? Now just look at your parents. How much have your parents changed since you know them? Since you were a little child, when you saw your parents, how much have they changed? Have they changed much?
No.
Or not much? And then for those who are married, how much has your husband or wife changed? How much has your husband or wife changed? Not much. So now you understand it's hard to change people. But by love, with love. Now love doesn't mean I want you. That's not love. Love is I want to do something to make you happy, to bless you, to help you, to make you feel good, to build you up. Okay? Now the first part I'm going to talk about the difference between male and female in different ways. So you know the difference. But this is not always true, but this is generally true. Okay? The first difference, the area of difference is perspective or how they look at things. What is more important? What is more important? Okay? For the male, position is important. What do I mean? Male want people to respect them. That he's the head, the leader, that he is important. For instance, when two men talks, one man said, I'm trying to use an illustration that makes sense to you. This woman or this church is good, or this place is good, this place is good. And the other man usually won't say yes. Usually will say no. This place is not good. That other place is better. Have you noticed that? When two men talk, one says something, the other one will say something opposite. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Because they want to prove I am more right. I'm more correct. What you said is not right. But actually sometimes it's not about right or wrong. It's about when you say it's right, it seems that you are higher. I want to be higher. Have you seen two men argue, one after another? He said yes, no, and then they want to prove that they are correct. So for men, it's very important that they feel they are more superior, smarter, more capable. So to men, these are important. Smarter, more capable, more power. Now, I'm not saying this to say that this is all wrong. Some is wrong, but then that basically, for instance, for me, I want to think of myself as a capable pastor who can do his job well. I want to think of myself. But as a woman, generally, they will think of, I want to be a pastor that people like me. Of course, I would like people like me too. But more important, when I do things right and I'm more capable, I feel better. So men like to be praised as smart, you're capable. And then women like to be praised, everybody likes you. You are so friendly. Can you see the difference? Okay? And men generally don't like to take commands. So when the wife said, clear the garbage, how does the man feel? Yeah, feel belittled. So for the woman to ask her husband to do something, it's best to say, please do it for me. I'll be very happy when you do it. Can you help me? I need your help. Now, men like to be you say something like this, I need your help, please help me. Because then they will feel more important, right?
Yeah.
So now you understand. Now when we understand this, it doesn't mean we want to build up the ego of a man. But we know that man looks for success. They want to be successful in business and in things. So for wives, you want your husband to like you. You say more things like, notice what he's good about, what he's good at. You did it well. You did it very well this time. You have tried your best. I noticed this good thing about you. and the husband will be very happy. That way you gain your husband. But many women don't like to say that. They say that he has hurt me so many times, I have to hurt him. Now, is that love?
No.
Actually, in many marriages, sometimes I doubt, I wonder whether there's more love or hatred. I mean, it's a little hatred. It's like, he wants it, I won't give it to him. He wants to be praised, I won't praise him. Is it true? And you know that if you say he's capable, he's very happy. But we just don't want to say it, right? Many wives don't want to say it because he's not nice, so I don't want to say it. And that way, does it build up the relationship? No. But it's natural human instinct. Human instinct is sinful nature. The sinful nature is, I want you to love me. I don't want to do something for you. Isn't that true? That we want to remember all these things, wrong things the person has done, and then we want him to pay back. I want him to pay a price. So, okay? And then women, what do they see as important? Relationship and sharing. They like relationships. So a husband, you want to please your wife, very easy. You listen to her. What is on your heart? How do you feel today? And do you have some burdens? How can I? And you stay with the wife. Now some people say, well, that way as pastors we don't have time for ministry. If I spend more time with my wife, let me tell you, I spend time with my wife. I do. I spend time in vacation. We go on vacation to different places. And I spend time, sometimes we're taking a walk. And we spend time talking over things. And then I have a wife who really supports me in everything. She supports me in everything. Just now we were talking on the phone and we were even doing the video call. And she loves me very much. She's very happy whenever I say, because I have a date with her. Next week, some of my schoolmates have invited a speaker, and I was thinking of going because usually my schoolmates when I was in secondary school, we gather together. And then they invited a famous speaker. And at first I don't want to go, because he's just a psychologist. But then I heard from a schoolmate that he said that he's very good. So I think of going and learning. And then I told my wife. And then my wife said, he's very good. I have heard him before. And then can I go too? I said, yes, you can go. And then I said to her, we'll hold hands together when we listen, when we eat.
Yeah.
That's my invitation to her. Now when we eat, very often we'll hold hands. When we walk, we hold hands. I want to make her happy. I want to make her feel loved. And then I have my whole wife. My wife loves me totally. Let me ask you, Ben, do you want your wife to love you totally and support you totally?
Yes.
But are you willing to pay the price? If you want that, you need to pay a price. You don't pay a price, your wife will be the complaining woman. Let me ask you, do you want a complaining woman or a woman who really likes you? You need to pay a price. It's like with God. If you want relationship with God, can you have the relationship without putting in time?
No. Pay the price.
Let me tell you, God has both the male characteristic and the female characteristic. He put some of his characteristic in the male and some in the female. God has plans and goals, and He wants to accomplish tasks. What He plans to do, He'll accomplish. This is the male characteristic. He also has a female characteristic. He wants to be with people. He wants to spend time with people. He likes to be with people. He yearns for our love. He wants to be with us. So he wants relationship.
Yes.
So if we want relationship with God, we need to spend time, right? But some people say, I'd rather spend time with God than with my wife. With my wife, it will waste my time. Because it doesn't build up ministry. But let me tell you, have you noticed my teaching is very down to earth? because I have contact with my wife and different women. I know the needs of men and women. I know the specific needs. Therefore, when I talk, I can always talk to the feelings of people. And that's something my wife has helped me a lot. I know the needs of people. I know the feelings of people. I've learned from my wife, and she has helped me to be a better pastor. So when I pay the price, I can understand women and men more. I can respond to people more. Let me ask you, are you willing to spend some time tonight with your wife, to love her, make her feel important, and then for the wives that you are willing to honor your husband and let him know he's capable, he has ability, he has done things for you. He must have done something for you, right? So can you thank him for that? If you do that, let me tell you, many people came back and tell me, wow, we are like lovers now. Many people came back and tell me, we are like lovers now. If you spend time with your wife and husband and hug him and make him feel happy and do things that make him happy, your relationship will be better. So the point is, are you willing? And the Bible says, love your wife and submit to your husband. Yes?
Let me ask question. Truly, what you say is right. Then I ask you a question. When you marry a woman, you love her, and she likes money.
She likes money.
She likes money. And maybe you marry the woman, you don't have money as a man. And the person live happily because some of the women, anytime they need something. Amen. What I'm saying, to marry, most places here in Africa is very difficult. To marry a woman without money as a man. Love. When you don't have anything for that woman, I don't care whatever you do, that love is a different thing. Because for that reason, can somebody marry a woman, then love her, take care of her, and at long run, she will not feel happy because you don't have money.
Okay. Let me say this. When you get married, you know the financial condition. Both persons will accept each other, the financial condition. And then if it's difficult, I know this country is difficult to find jobs. But you do try, and you love her. And you do try, you try very hard to find a job. The wife will still stick with you. If you really love her and care about her, and then you find the money, earn the money, and then you bring it back to her, she'll be very happy. You don't have to be a rich man. Let me ask the woman here, is it true? If your husband will spend time with you and love you and listen to you and care about you, even if he doesn't have a lot of money, you already know he doesn't have a lot of money. He tries his best. Will you be happy with him?
Yes.
Yes. So you all say yes. Let me ask you, which is more important? Which is more important? One, that he likes the relationship with you, or he has much money. Which is more?
The relationship. You got that money, get go
Yeah,
anytime.
it's true for all women. Now for men, let me tell you, relationship is secondary. I use an illustration. For women, whatever it is, most important thing is not doing something. It's doing together, having communication, having the relationship. For men, the wife has to go back to her parents' home for a few days. It's okay, bye-bye, take care of yourself. I can be, most men can be by themselves, it's okay, right? I mean, they like to be married for long term, but then for a few days it's fine. But for the wife, she will think about her husband more if the relationship is good. Every time I go away, my wife would count the number of days, and she'll tell me how many days before I'll go back. So for her, relationship is more important. And for men, freedom and do what I want to do is more important. Now, the woman's support is good. It's good. The support is good. She respects me is good. But we don't have to be together all the time. Is it true? For men, most men. But for women, to be together as much as possible is great. That's true. So now you understand the difference. Now, of course, I want to say, you want to find a balance. You don't just want to spend your time with your wife and do nothing else. And you can do things together. So we can, now, me and my wife is like this. Our time of dating is not just going out. We can be washing dishes together. When we wash dishes, we enjoy it. And then sometimes, the place where we live, there is a bus that comes every 20 minutes or so. And then sometime we went to take the bus and the bus left. And then I would say to her, now is a time of dating now, that we just wait for the next bus. And she's very happy. So we see any time we're together is a time of dating, of enjoying each other. And that way, she really likes me. She really wants to be with me. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that. And I'm strengthened by that. And people around me see that. Everyone see that. Even here, Bishop will hear me talking on the phone. And he knows that it's with my wife. Unless if I'm talking about business with someone else. If not, it's always with my wife. Okay? Okay, now next point about difference between men and women. Handling emotions, when we have emotions. I want to say that first, women, when they have emotions, it's like a pressure cooker. Do you know pressure cooker?
Yes, sir.
The pressure builds up more and more and more and more until she will blow up if there is no way out. And then for the woman, when she has emotions, she has to talk about it. And then if she can talk about it, someone talk about it with her, she will feel half of the problem is gone, or most of the problem is gone. For instance, no money. And then the husband will stay with her and say, yes, we are going difficult times, and then listen to her and talk with her. And then she might forget about the money problem. She will enjoy the time together. So the time together would give her more comfort than the solution. Of course, you like the solution too, but the time together is very important. But I know that in Africa, the relationship is very different here. Because in Hong Kong, in America, and in most countries, families eat together. But here in Africa, the men eat together, the women eat together, and with the children. So there's not much communication. I think as Christians, we should change this. Can this be changed? Is it possible?
Yes.
Because when you have more time with your wife, the dinner time is not just a time to eat. That's a function. My wife reminds me many times. She said, dinner time is not just a time to finish the job of eating. It's a time of building relationship. So when we go out to eat, she's not just looking for a place to eat. She's looking for a place that's romantic, that we can have a good view, that we can enjoy the time together. And the time we eat together is a time to talk and enjoy. So I hope you're willing. Is it possible here to change that habit? Yes.
That it will be possible. Like for me, I experienced that I live with white people. Now, if you look at the other countries around us, and when you come here, it's a little bit hard for it to happen with us. Like for instance, someone go to work, lunchtime they will run back to the house. But with us, you go to work, whole day you're there, and while you are there, the woman cook behind you. So for them to wait for you, it's a little bit hard. But if you are living with, the men can run back to the house, here in Liberia. Now we go to work and run back to the house, and we all eat on the table. But here I go to work in the morning, I come back 6 o'clock. It's a little bit hard.
Okay, what did you say?
It says a little bit hard here in Africa. The man goes to work in the daytime and comes back late. Before he comes, the wife has finished cooking the meal. So, but where he stays, he said the man can leave the office and come home. They eat together, then go back to the office. So only one person practicing
you
that.
You mean come back home and eat and then go back to office?
Yeah, the office.
Okay. Now let me ask you, do you all stay late in the office? Pastors, do you all stay late in office? Do you all stay late? Okay, how many pastors here stay late? Then your work has to go to late hours. I mean, you can go to work in your home too. You can do things at home too. Then you have to stay late in the office. You have to. So one pastor. You have to stay late. Okay. Let me tell you.
After I go for preaching engagement, I come in the night.
Let me say this: priority. Priority. What are our priorities? What is the most important? Number one is God. Number one is God. Number two, family. Number three, ministry. Do you agree? Number one, God. Number two, family. Number three, ministry. Lost sound. Oh, that's okay. So, do you agree? God first.
Yes.
And family, and then ministry. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Because if you don't have a good family, then you don't have good ministry. Now, I want to say this. If you have to work late, okay, if you have to work late in the office, I would suggest this. Then you count how many days you have to. You must stay. And then you try to minimize the number of days. And then the rest of the time you try to be home. When you promise to be home, you will be home. So when we see the wife as important, if you want the relationship to be strong, then we need to allow time. If you don't allow time, it's no way to build up the relationship. Yes?
Amen.
Amen.
Pastor Timothy, my own is different. I love my wife. She loves me. And I have the ministry at heart. And I have my wife at heart. There's something that always happens. The type of food I always eat is not what they eat in the house. So they keep my own food. Even she knows that I come late. But what you normally do, she cannot take bath without me.
She cannot take a bath.
She cannot shower without me.
Okay.
When I come in, anytime I come in, he ready for me, prepare my food. We go to shower together.
Okay.
She set my food. Because not everything I can eat, always. So that care and love, we have it, and we have been building up ourselves for 27 years now.
Okay.
But other people, husband talking a different thing, wife talking a different thing. So it's a problem.
Okay. Okay. The main thing is the time together. Now, even if you eat different foods, I think one solution is that she eat her food and you eat your food, and then you eat together. I'm just saying try to do that as much as possible, whatever is possible. I'm just saying to the women it's important. Let me ask you, the women here, if that change is brought to Africa, do you agree? Do you like that?
I will be very glad.
You'll be very glad. So when your husband eats separately from you, how do you feel?
I get it bad.
You feel bad.
Yes.
So you feel bad every day because you don't eat together. So I hope you see that really makes her feel happy. And then very often the wife is even willing to wait for you to come home to eat together. Okay, let's move on. So women likes to talk about feelings and likes to take care of it, and it's solved partly already when someone supports her and listen to her. Now for men, when men have emotional problem, they like to hide. They like to stay by themselves. They like to take a walk. They like to take a sleep. They don't like to talk to people. They like to solve it themselves. And then when they finish taking care of it, then they say, well, now no problem. I don't need to talk to anyone about it. That's most men how it is, right? Is it true? Because men like space. We like to be by ourselves to manage it. But sometimes if the wife is very supportive, then the husband will say more. Now what I mean is like this. Now there are wives who react like this. Like for instance, the husband said, oh, the church has some problem. And then the wife said, what problem? What problem? And then the husband said, well, someone has this problem. Oh, wow, that problem is serious. Whoa. And then the husband said, your reaction is too strong. You're so unhappy. And it give me too much pressure. So that's why many husbands doesn't like to talk to the wife about it, because then the wife is very overwhelmed and worry every day. Oh, the church has this problem. Oh, I worry about it. And now, what do men like women to do? If you say, oh, that must be difficult for you, and I'll pray for you, and what can I do for you? Just offer some help, but not too much. Don't push and say, tell me more. And you have to do this, do that. Too much pressure, the man will feel too much pressure. So it's better to leave him alone and then ask him how it is, and then I care about you. And then when the man has done something wrong, very important. Many women would do this. You're so clumsy. You didn't do it right. But my wife said something I really like. She said, doesn't matter. It's okay.
It's okay.
For instance, when we go out to eat and I spill some food on the clothing, she'll say, okay, we just go and wash it, no problem. She's always saying, no problem. Men, do you like that?
Yes.
But very often the wives don't react like this, right? The wives will say, you're so clumsy and you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot do things well. So men don't like that kind of reaction. They like the women to sit back and give them some space and be nice to them and don't push them. When you understand that, now, I know that a lot of times women will say, we have a lot of family problems we have to take care of. So when the man has time, the woman will say, okay, number 1 problem, the window has to be fixed. Number 2 problem, the children problem. Number 3 problem, food problem. Number 3 problem, all this. But then, if the wife can do it slowly, and you can write a note. Okay, these are things we need to take care of, and when we will take time to do it. And then, now, what about if the husband doesn't do it? Usually the wife gets very frustrated and want to push the husband. But if you say, well, of course there's first to be an agreement. Now with me and my wife there's agreement. I want to try my best to help. But then she doesn't push. She will ask me, okay, when can you do it? It's okay if you agree. And what if, for instance, I did something wrong and I say, I'm sorry, I'll try to work on it next time. Then she'll be very happy and let go. My wife can let go. And I hope the wives here can let go. When the husband says, I'll do it. The problem is, the wife says, but he doesn't keep his promise. Then the husband has to keep the promise. And then when you cannot do it, you tell your wife, I cannot do it now. And then the wives don't have to be angry. Actually, a lot of times because the emotion of the wife that gives the husband a pressure. Because when he cannot do it, the wife is very unhappy, and then so he wants to avoid it. He wants to run away from it. But if the wife gives him space and time to relax, and just say, okay, I'll be very happy when you can do it. And then when he does it, then appreciate him. You're doing very well. Then the husband will be motivated to do it. Okay, now I know you might have many questions, but I think it's better that I go through this and then you ask the questions together. If not, we cannot finish everything. I know you have questions, okay? Now move on. So, for men, they like to they handle their emotions by themselves, and they don't like to talk too much about it. They rather talk about things than feelings. Most men don't like to talk about, oh, I'm unhappy. Because when they talk about it, it sounds like they are incapable. But if they have a problem, I have to overcome a problem, then they can talk about the thing. But talk about the feeling is harder for men. Actually, most men have problem knowing their feelings. Most men don't know their feelings. Let me tell you the main feelings. Write this down. Glad. The feelings, main feelings. Glad, G-L-A-D. Someone can write it.
Glad.
Glad, sad, S-A-D. Mad, M-A-D. Afraid. Ashamed. And then hurts. Now these are some of the main feelings. They're not all, and many feelings are under this category. Most men will not say, I'm very happy. Do you find it true? Most men don't say that. Now push the board to one side more. A little bit. Just a little. That's fine. Most men don't want to say, I'm very happy, or I'm sad, I'm afraid. Men hardly will say, I'm afraid, because saying I'm afraid is like he's weak. But women, yeah, that's fine. No. You don't have to write. This is for all. These are the feelings for all. But men don't like to talk about it and don't even know the feelings. Most of the time, men don't know the feelings. For instance, many times I ask men, how do you feel now? He will say, I think it is good. I think. Is it a feeling?
Yeah.
I think it is good. It is a thinking. So most men have problems saying feelings, have problems saying, I feel bored, I feel happy. And so this is something, actually, husband and wife here. How many husband and wife here? That you are a couple. How many couples right here? Two, both of you are here.
Now. You now.
Okay? Now. Or just two of you, okay? This can be exercised at home. You can talk about some instances when you have these feelings and share with the other person. And many men would think, if I share the feeling, it's a waste of time. But many women will say this. If the man is willing to talk about his feelings, the woman generally is very happy to hear it. Let me ask you the wives here. If your husband would tell you, instead of blowing up, I tell you my feelings in certain instances, will you be happy? Will you be happy?
Yes.
Yes. Why would you be happy? Why would you be happy? Because you know more about him, right? But many times the man don't open himself up. So you don't know how he is. He doesn't talk much. So when he talks about himself in a peaceful way, not blowing up, in a peaceful way, most women would be very happy to hear. And when I talk about my things, my wife would really listen. She was very interested to hear anything about me or from me, anything that happened to me, she's very happy to hear. She'll pay attention. But for men, most men don't have much interest. If the woman talk about her feelings, the man usually say, that's too boring. You don't have to talk about the feelings so much. You don't have to talk so long. Pardon me? Yeah, I'm saying. So in order to build the relationship, what should men do? Men should talk about their needs, their feelings more, and pay attention to the woman. But the women should not talk too much. So you restrain yourself. Each time you talk for maybe 10-15 minutes and you have a pause. Don't keep talking for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then he won't be able to, he will lose interest. Okay, next thing. Manage the feelings of the other person. Now this next point. Now the first point is what they see as important. Second point is how they manage their own emotions. Third point, how they manage the feelings of the other person. How they manage the feelings of the other person. Man handles the feeling of the woman the way it's a fireman. Fireman is what? What do you need help? I'll help you. So when the wife says, I'm not happy, someone hurt me, the husband will say, okay, tomorrow you go back to work, this is what you do. This is how you handle it. But the wife doesn't want that. The wife wants what? Huh? Hugging, right?
She wants you to pet her.
Pet her. Okay. He wants you. Okay, for the wife, she likes you to listen to her and agree with her. Now you can have physical action at the same time, but you say, oh, it must be difficult for you. Now look at me, all of you. Now the women here, pretend I'm your husband, pretend. And then you told me something that hurt you, and then I'll say, I know it must have hurt you. It makes you unhappy. It makes you feel disappointed. I'm sorry about that. Now if your husband talked to you like that, how do you feel? You like it very much, right? Because he is responding to your feelings. He knows your feeling, right? So talking first to express that I hurt your feelings. I know your feelings. I feel your feelings. I feel bad about it. Okay? So for men, you understand that. But most men like to be firemen. What is fireman? Okay, let me tell you what to do. Tomorrow this is what to do. Okay, this is how you handle your problem. Do you like that? No. No wives like that, right? No wives like a teacher husband. But do your husband do that much? Does your husband do that much? He likes to teach you, right? Because he's a fireman. Now you understand that. So what you can do, you prepare your husband. You say, husband, I'm going to share something with you. I just like to hear your feeling. I like you to feel my feeling. I don't want you to think about how to solve the problem. Is that okay? So you can tell your husband, I like you to feel my feeling and respond to my feeling. So you prepare him for that. And then when he does that, you say, you're great. You're great. You're doing great. Then he will keep doing that. Okay? Bishop, why don't you take a chair and sit here so you can come closer?
Amen. Now, Pastor Ip, I want to understand, because what he's saying here in Africa, let's assume, are you hearing me? Okay.
No, go beyond.
Because he has so many questions, I put a chair.
So, for instance, a man is coming back home, frustrated.
For what?
Frustrated. A man coming home with burden.
Burden, okay.
Coming with burden. And most African women, they can't even look at your face, whether your face bright or not. Then, as soon as you come home, a woman start asking one thing or the other. That's requesting one thing, some problem in the house before you. Looking at your state, and a woman bringing such a matter, what do you do to her?
Okay. Now for me, I'm used to sharing with her what happened. But then for the wives, I encourage you. You just ask. I noticed that you seems unhappy today. And you can tell me. You can tell me. But don't say, you have to tell me. Tell me. But you can tell me. I'll be very happy to hear that and share the burden with you. And then if he doesn't want to say it, don't keep asking. Give him the room. That's why I said men need space. Okay? Yes?
She said she doesn't want her husband to see her on Facebook.
Or you don't want to see her face? Then you just stand back.
Yeah, it's a question. We want to ask direct question.
My question is this. They say, let's say the husband and the wife, when they are married, they both of them are one. Huh? You people are not two again. You are one. Alright. And then they both of you doing ministry. And you have, let's say the male or the female have the semen of the spirit. Or sometimes when they dream, their dream come true. And then, let's say, within 3 days time, you have similar dream and vision concerning your husband. For example, maybe I lie down on the bed and then I saw my husband, he put slap in my face and say, you see too much spiritual thing. And then I call my husband, I say, I was lying down.